for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked the young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Bittt.Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, and you're watching live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. And thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. It's absolutely free. The Sick Podcast brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, recently named by Deloitte and CIBC as one of Canada's best managed companies, country's leading business award, recognizing innovative and world-class companies. The best managed Canadian companies designation fuels Energy's purpose of creating progress for their customers, their employees, and their communities. Join a winning team and check out Energy's career page for available opportunities. Experience the world-renowned poker experience with free food and drinks at their cash game tables. I'm talking to you about Playground. They also bring you the Sick Podcast, a bad beat jackpot that is already over $700,000 after the world record-setting amount of $2,590,000 was won. Back on August the 2nd, weekly promotions, daily tournaments, and unmatched customer service. Why play anywhere else is what I ask you, located just over the Mercier Bridge, only minutes from downtown Montreal. Playground. And brewed in Quebec and a winner of a dozen international awards, La Bittt Tibi offers quality microbrewery beers made with premium ingredients for everyone's taste. La Bittt Tibi, embrace your true nature. All right, okay. On that note, you know, Marc-André Perreault joined me a couple of weeks back, and had been a while since he hadn't joined me because he was enjoying his summer, the cottage here, there, everywhere. And, when he did join me, I said, how was your summer? And he said his summer was great. And he was playing a lot of golf, and he gets in golf all the time. And tonight I'm going to ask him a different question. I'm going to ask him about the summer, but I'm not going to ask him about his summer. I'm going to ask him about Kent Hughes' summer. Marc-André Perreault of TVA Sport. Comment ça va?
How are you, beautiful?
Hey, that would be me. Beautiful. Let me just take off the glass.
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Life is
okay?
good. Kids are healthy. My golf game is A1.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's
all good, man. All good.
Kids
Can't
are
wait
healthy.
for the season to start. Yeah, well, of course.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, forget about
exactly.
the golf. All right. Yeah. So, you know what? I asked you about your summer. I never asked you about Kent Hughes' summer. And that's why I have you on tonight, to talk to you about Kent Hughes' summer.
Yeah.
And
hold on a second.
what kind of summer do you think he had?
I mean, it's tough to say that he had a great summer because I don't think the Canadians are better short term. Mid-term, it's a no-brainer, but he did everything he had to do, right? And I'm gonna say something, and I'm not gonna gain anything from Kent Hughes, from Montreal Canadiens to say that, but I don't think Kent Hughes did something wrong since he's with the Montreal Canadiens. It's tough to pinpoint something that he did wrong, and we can say, that was an obvious mistake. And I just think his summer is pretty much in the same line. He did everything he had to do. He took a gamble with Newhook, and I spent a few weeks with the Avalanche 2 years ago, and I can tell you that some people in that organization are surprised and not sad, but they think that Alex Newhook could be maybe not a steal, but a home run for the Montreal Canadiens. So we'll see, but just that's typical Kent Hughes. Take a gamble on a young kid who underachieved for many reasons, but that's going to be interesting to see. But for me, the main thing was get rid of Mike Hoffman. And it's nothing personal against Mike Hoffman. We all know his game, his style of play, his contract, what he's bringing on the table.
He's interested when he has the puck, and when he doesn't have the puck, he's not interested.
You know what? I'm not. He's a weapon with his one-timer on the power play, but I've seen so many times that he almost killed his teammates because his one-timer is going everywhere, high, and so many guys had to, it's to me that it's probably the best thing about getting rid of Mike Hoffman.
I think that's a good analysis. He tries to obliterate the puck instead of having, with first intention, getting the puck on net.
Exactly.
Your first intention should be to get the puck on net. And whether you score or not, it'll create a scoring chance. Instead, he just tries to rip it through, like just blast it as hard as he can. Yeah. And he misses the net more often than not. But you said a comment, and I want to go back to that. We'll get back to Hoffman in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
You said a comment, and you said, I don't think Kent Hughes did anything wrong since he's been in place. So it's an interesting opinion. And I like
nothing
him too.
Major.
No, but the potential, some things can go wrong, though. Passing up on Michkov.
Oh, stop it.
Why stop it?
I mean,
why stop it?
Well, why? You know what? It's tough for me to. I haven't seen him play. Okay.
You love Danny Briere, right?
I do, and
he drafted
Danny Briere. I think he took a Grand Slam swing because he was 7th. He was still available. Everybody says that he's talent-wise second best player. So what do you do now? So he said that he had meetings with him, went very well. It went exceptional. But then what do you do? What are you going to do? You're 7th, so you're going to take a gamble. I mean, the strategy is you can defend it. But from what we're hearing, from what I've heard from scouts, a lot of teams wouldn't touch him with a pole. So now it's, trust me, when I was 18 years old, I was not as mature as I am. And trust me, sometimes I feel like I'm not mature enough. But things can improve, things can change. But right now, I can understand why a lot of teams, like he was not even on the list. So there you go.
I can recall a lot of people saying that they wouldn't touch guys like Brett Hull, and they wouldn't touch guys like Keith Tkachuk back in the day. But
Le Krabitaille.
They had pretty good careers, pretty good careers.
Of course, and if you ask me the question, it's tough because I don't want to be that. You say that in English, that the mother-in-law, like you're commenting on everything, and you don't even know the topic.
La belle-mère, la belle-mère.
La belle-mère. C'est ça. I haven't, I've never spoke to Michkov. Obviously, didn't see him play enough to tell you, to have a good, a good head about him. But he is not the type of guy I would go, especially with the type of work ethic and kind of people Kent Hughes want to bring. So anyways, that's pretty much what I have to say.
A lot of guys with a lot of talent are such naturals that they're not always at 100%. Now look, I'm not going to disagree with what you said. What I'm saying is there is the potential there for Reinbacher over Michkov to be a regretful pick. There is a potential there for Slavkovsky over Cooley to be something that they might regret.
That was not unanimous.
Okay. The Jake Allen contract, it doesn't bother me either way because in the short term, they're not going anywhere. right? It's not like they're if they would have had a better goalie or they wouldn't have spent the money on Jake Allen, that all of a sudden they're a
Good
playoff team
person.
and they can.
Good person in the locker room, a good veteran. He's a good guy. I mean, he's a great guy. So it's a good.
Yeah, I'm all of that too. Nobody ever gave me $3.5 million.
Yeah, but you don't even have 1 mile of the person, the talent he has. So I'm sorry, you have the size, but you don't have the skills.
I definitely have the size. But
yeah, you know. So to me, Nail Yakupov. You remember? He was the first. You know, it was fail for Nail and blah blah blah. And he started his career.
He was a bust.
And his work ethic I remember the car wash before the draft, and it was on a boat. Car wash is, you know, all the media's having interviews with the top prospects, and they were on a kind of a cruise on the Hudson River in New York, and the way he was acting, the way he was answering questions, it seemed like he was thinking he was the next Wayne Gretzky or whatever. So his attitude was pretty bad, pretty annoying. I think it was. I can tell you it was the case in Edmonton. Yeah. But years after, in Colorado, he had a stunt there. He was so nice, so polite, and reputation.
Because he was brought back down to earth.
Exactly, and he got more mature, I guess. But just to tell you that things can change, and you know, we all grow up, and so that was the case for Nail Yakupov from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So there you go. Can it be the case with Mishkov? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I wish the best for him and for the Flyers, but
I call Kent Hughes the stockbroker. For me, the way he operates, he's a stockbroker. Buying low, selling high. Trading assets, getting rid of one stock, getting two in return with that money that he saves. You know what I mean?
And he's not emotional. The only tiny bit of emotion I've seen from him, you can tell me if you have other ideas, but when he told Jeff Petrie that he would do anything, you know, to help him, and he sent him to Detroit. So for Jeff Petrie, it's like a bingo, jackpot. We're all happy.
Yeah.
That's the only moment I could see Kent Hughes being a little not emotional, but you know, not only, you know, taking decision with his head. So, but beside that, he has a plan, and he's so focused on that plan, so focused. And to me, that's probably the best thing, especially in Montreal with all the pressure. And we've seen that so many times, like coaches or GMs taking emotional decision because of the hype of the moment. And I don't think it's gonna happen with Kent Hughes, and that's probably the best thing for the team.
All right. Okay. So once again, back to his summer, and you were talking about Hoffman.
Yeah.
I think we like, I'm not surprised that happened. No. And I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have kept him and they would have traded him at the deadline, because at the very most, he was staying until the deadline, but he was not going past that. Right. So I thought, you know what, if he stays, make him rotate him and Monahan with Caulfield and Suzuki, and this way they can both get their share of points, and you could trade them before the deadline and try and get as much as you can in return. But they wanted to do it as soon as possible.
Too expensive, culture, work ethic, and you know, it's nothing against Mike Hoffman, like personally, but it's you don't. When you have so many young talent or young players, you know, they're looking up to the veteran, and you see a guy like that. It's I mean, he has talent. I mean, he made a lot of money with his shot, but it's not he just doesn't fit there. He doesn't.
You know what it tells you, Mapper, that when in getting rid of him, is that they're not out of the rebuild, but they've turned the corner. Right? They've turned the corner.
I agree with that.
Because if they were in the heart of the rebuild, if he's there and his game is deficient and you end up losing games because of him, you'll actually close your eyes, because you know what? He might end up helping the process instead of hurting it. But now that you're turning the corner,
Mhm.
you're still rebuilding, but you're more turning the corner towards looking towards becoming a playoff team at some point here.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
it's less enticing to want to have them on your team.
Yeah, and here's how we are going to play. And no matter what your status, your contract, no matter what your, anything, this is the way we're going to play. And if you don't fit, well, goodbye. And to me, that's what happened with Mike Hoffman. And, that's, I wouldn't say genius move, but almost genius move. Get rid of him, get rid of Pitlick, who was not happy anymore. By the way, I think Joel Edmondson, it's been a few months since he wants to leave Montreal. But now it's clear. It's clear, and to me, it's the best thing that could happen.
What do you think? What do you think happened with Pitlick? And I know the expectations weren't high when they got him, but he can skate, he can fly. He's not making a lot of money. You would think that he could have worked out here.
Well, he was picked up on waivers. He was, when he got here, what you remember, he was so good at the start. With points, he was playing on the PK, playing on the PP sometimes. I just think he had a rough time at one point, and maybe his attitude started to change, got frustrated, and then you saw other players like Raphaël Harvey-Pinard who did way better. So this type of player, you have a max. You not all of your team can be like that. So to me, I think Rem Pitlick just his attitude maybe changed a little bit. He's a good kid. I'm not saying he's but I think when you're down, when you're negative, when you see other players playing better than you, and you feel like you're losing your spot, and when you're a fourth liner, you're on thin ice, right? Because they can get rid of you. So I think it started to be hard on him, and you can tell just by watching him play the way he was playing, no confidence at all. So again, it's another great move. 1.1, no more Pitlick. Everybody's happy. So there you go. It's a good trade for everyone.
What is it you were saying about Edmondson, who was traded, of course, in early July to Washington Capitals for a third and a seventh?
I think he was a leader. That's a fact.
1,000%.
And
he played good music in the locker room.
Also better than PK, but that's another point. Joel Edmondson, you can tell when you're on the road, he was the man. He was like the father figure. Maybe when Savard was there, maybe it was a mix. But Joel Edmondson, such a good leader, such a good guy. Everybody loved Joel Edmondson. But back problem. Then he was on the trading blocks. You remember, Kent Hughes was very honest with him. Met him. It's possible. So I think that it's just human nature to. You can be cold about knowing that the team is maybe looking to trade you. So I think from what I've heard, ça y a fait quelque chose.
Yeah.
And from there was only one way, and it was to trade him because he's a good guy. He's a good leader. I'm just to be clear here, I'm not saying he had a bad attitude or he was negative in the locker room. That's not what I'm saying. I just think as a human being, it was a tough stretch for him with his back, his dad, and everything.
Yeah.
The fact that the team wanted to trade him. So I think it was just better for everyone.
He was affected by it all.
I think so.
Yeah.
And again, from what I've heard, always a good guy in the locker room but he didn't cry when he was traded.
I hear you. You talked about Newhook, and you said that based on what some people within the Avalanche organization believe that Newhook could be like a home run for the Montreal Canadiens. But there are a lot of Canadians fans who reacted negatively toward the trade as well. And they're like, okay, you know what, Kent, I liked you up until this point. You had done everything right. But this deal, I don't like. You give up a couple of draft picks for Alex Newhook, who, a lot of people are undecided whether or not he's going to be a centerman or a winger on this team. A lot of people are undecided whether he's going to be on the first line or on the second or on the third. If you knew that he was going to be on the first for sure, I'm sure you'd like the deal. But if you're unsure whether he's going to be on the first, and all of a sudden you're saying they're a smallish player, Suzuki's not the biggest.
Well, have you seen Suzuki's leg, and have you seen the way he can hit and the way he can get hit?
Yeah,
I mean, Nick Suzuki may be like
he's 5'11", but he's built like a truck.
Trust me, he has like his legs almost like it's like a tronc d'arbre. So he's not a small player like Caulfield. Cole Caulfield's a small player. That's
like a tree trunk and tronc d'arbre.
Yeah, tree trunk. So Kirby Dach, he's a monster, and we saw that he can fight. Josh Anderson can, take care of himself and take care of everyone.
Kirby Dach, was he impressive when he dropped the gloves or what?
When Jesperi Kotkaniemi dropped that poor guy from the Flyers. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Who did he fight again?
I can't remember, but we were like, whoa, man, okay, this kid can take care of himself. So
I got to look this up.
Yeah,
I got to
can't remember. So anyways, and Alex Newhook, they give draft picks. They have a crap load of draft picks. So at one point, it's enough is enough. And then, let's say he's on the second line. Is it a bad trade? Second liner in the NHL, you don't. It's tough to get.
With Robert Hagg.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, that was his second fight.
Was that
what? Because he fought with Carolina and he looked good as well.
Yeah, but you were talking about I think it was Robert Hagg of the Philadelphia Flyers. And
it was pretty intense.
Let me see. It was his first career fight against Robert Hagg and his first career fight against someone from the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but.
Anyways, so
he had others. I think it was versus Hagg.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was versus Hagg. Who's, by the way,
look at the fight and look how he looked.
It was his first. It was the first fight for Hagg in the National Hockey League. It was the first fight for Kotkaniemi in the National Hockey League. So it was both their first fight.
Okay.
Was for both their first fight, yeah.
I think that poor guy Hagg didn't expect that from KK.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because KK was not known as being like greedy and intense, but man, can he throw a punch?
Yeah. All right. So so Kent Hughes this summer.
Yep.
Is there something you wanted him to do that he didn't?
Well, you can always do more, but it's tough.
It has to make sense.
So what else? I mean, what else? There's always that. I don't know. I was about to say like a top 6 guy, but 32 teams will say the same thing. I always feel like Montreal is one top 6 away from being a very good team. Is it Newhook? Who knows? He's a first rounder. It's possible. He has talent. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen with Sam Montembeault.
So what do you think is going to happen?
We'll see after, 10, 15 games?
I think it's pretty clear what's going to happen.
Well, they're going to sign him, but for how much?
He's going to sign with the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes, but how long? How much?
Well, I think
what's going to be his status?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to sign for a number 1 money, and I don't think he's going to sign for a number 2 money. I think he's going to sign for a 1B money.
Well, 1B is a lot.
There's room for progression with Montembeault.
Of course, and
he's got a big advantage. He's a local kid. Those kids usually they want to keep him here, and they're not in a hurry to get rid of him.
I don't think it helped him so far. I don't think so, because you remember they got him. It was like a throw-in, and they didn't have a choice or whatever. They didn't really want him. At one point, Caden Primo, like they recalled Primo from Laval.
Yeah.
He was, they made him play instead of Montembeault. It was like, we don't want you, Sam. But then at one point, he raised his hand and said, hey, I can stop a puck. And he proved it when he had the chance.
Yeah.
So
I think he proved a lot of people wrong. I don't think Marty St. Louis was convinced.
No, well, nobody
of Samuel
was.
Montembeault. I wasn't
Nobody
convinced.
was. Nobody was, and that the credit goes to him. And he is such a nice guy. Like, he's such a nice guy, good person, doesn't speak loud. So I don't think it. Maybe is it going against him when it's going about contract situation or whatever. He has to be so good every night to prove that he can do the job. It's like there's always doubts.
You remember at one point there was a rumor of Carter Hart coming to Montreal this summer?
Trust me. Well, don't trust me, maybe, but I mean, I would have been shocked if Carter Hart was coming to Montreal. I never believed it.
Why?
I would have been shocked.
Why?
A lot of things.
Tell me those things.
Well, I mean, years ago, he was the next Carey Price, and then he was good in the playoffs. I think it was in the bubble or whatever, and then started to go, and that 2018 thing, and now he's not playing as well. And why are you going to bring him in Montreal? It doesn't make sense.
Potential. There's a lot of people that are sold on his potential. And there's a lot of people in Montreal who follow the Canadiens that aren't sold on the potential of any other goalie with the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, there's people in Montreal who's not sold on the potential. That's it. Like, it's not potential. It's like, what, at one point you need more than potential, right? Because potential, he took a gamble on Kirby Dach, took a gamble on, I think we can say Slavkovsky. New Hook, gambled on Monahan at one point. Gambling is, at one point, I don't know.
How about that decision? That happened for Kent Hughes this summer. We're talking about l'été de Kent Hughes. Kent Hughes this summer. The decision to bring back Sean Monahan.
It's a steal.
Well, it all depends on his health.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's been some bad health there over the past couple of years, but I think it's the decision that makes the most sense.
Well, when you think about buying low, selling high, that could be a
17 points in 25 games last year before going down with that season-ending injury.
Wasn't he good?
He was doing very, very good. He was a much appreciated teammate, a much appreciated line mate. And I think they sat down and they said, "Listen, Sean, you want yourself a long-term deal, whether it's with us or somebody else. Based on your injury last year, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
we want either to have you on a longer term or to be able to trade you to get some good value for you so that we can stockpile assets. And the best way that we can both go about our business and both end up getting what we want is we bring you back for one more year. It's not going to be the highest amount, of course, but you'll probably get more here than anybody else because
still young.
A lot of people are wondering about your health. And if you're healthy and you can put up points at the pace that you did last year, then at that point, we're going to accommodate you either way, whether it's with us or with somebody else, but you'll be accommodated."
And he's what, 28, 29?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
He's going to have top 6 minutes, power play minutes. It's, last year, we're talking about injuries, but last year, I think we can blame not only Sean Monahan for the injuries. Remember, December 4th, we're in Calgary with the walking boot. Was it the 4th or anyways?
Yeah.
Early December, walking boot. I've never seen a guy.
That injury may have cost people their jobs, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen that in 10 years. And I asked colleagues who are much older, looking better than me, but much older. They've never seen that. A guy walking in the arena with a walking boot and he plays. And then
I never seen that before.
Next thing you know, he gets hurt.
I've never seen that before.
And he's a guy you want to trade. It's just
I've
a
never-
total nonsense.
Hey, listen, we're talking about it 6 months later, and I think it's crazy. I've never seen that before in professional sports. A guy's got a walking boot one night, one day, one afternoon, and the next night he's playing. I've never seen that before.
Sometimes I wake up at night just to know if I didn't dream that, if it's real.
Wow.
But it is. I was there.
Some nights my wife taps on my shoulder, and that's when I wake up. You and I, we wake up in the middle of the night for different reasons, I think.
I remember in Calgary those hall where you to go to the locker room. It's so tiny, so you see the guys, and we were shocked. And I remember we had the shot with the camera, and I can see in the face of some people in the organization. It's like, please don't show it. Please don't show it. Sportsnet guy in Calgary, bing, goes on air. So everybody saw that.
Oh, wow.
And I remember after the game, still has the walking boot in the locker room for the interviews.
So you think some members of the Canadiens organization didn't want the cameras to show Sean?
No, I
Monahan?
mean, of course they didn't want, but I like they didn't tell us, they didn't ask us to not show it. You know.
No, but that's when you go out a back door. You know what I mean?
Of course. Well,
That's
there's no
not
back door in Calgary.
That's got to be.
That's the problem. There's only that big garage door, and then you come in. It smells like an old drink, and then it's funny because the players, they have to walk right in front of the media center. So for sure we're gonna see everything. And I remember he was in the locker room after, and we were doing the scrums, and he was sweating, and he was limping, and he asked us to, rightly so, to do it fast so he can go see his friends and family. And I remember him walking out of the locker room, and he was limping. So there was no way to me that he would play in Vancouver a few days after. And did he? Was it Edmonton after? I think they went to Edmonton after. Yeah.
Well, it was the West Coast trip, right?
Yeah. And then Vancouver after, played a few minutes, and then he was out. It's such a bad decision. But anyways, what's done is done. But I think they learned a lot.
You talk about Jeff Petrie before, and that Petrie deal, of course, is Gustav Lindstrom, who's part of Kent Hughes this summer.
Yes. Well, I spoke with my friend Renaud Lavoie earlier, and he told me that Chris Weinman's injured, back injury, so they don't know when he is going to be ready to play. Probably won't be at the start of the season, but don't quote me on that. But we shall see. But Longvis is just he's another right-hand defenseman.
Lindstrom.
Sorry, Lindstrom.
No, it's okay.
Did I say Longvis?
I think you said Lundqvist, yeah.
Well, sorry about that. It's like Marinaro and Perreault. It's
no. You're thinking of King Henrik and his beautiful style that he had, his beautiful hair.
Well, you're spraying water on your hair, so.
You like
but
that,
anyway,
eh?
so it's
accentuates the curls.
There you go.
Thank
There's
you very
no
much.
curls in mine, but no, it's I kind of have nothing to say about him because we don't really know. But don't expect a guy who's gonna score goals, who's gonna be on the power play, who's gonna be a top four. I mean, he's not gonna be top four.
You don't think so, eh?
I think if he is, it's bad news for Montreal. I'm like really bad news. So I can see him third pairing, maybe to start to see. We never know why.
I think he'll start third pairing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but more than that, I doubt it a lot. So,
Then again,
you never know. You never know. Look at
Matheson, Savard,
Matheson. He
Goulet.
was so good last year. Goulet, yeah.
Kovacevic, Jacky,
Jacky.
Barrett.
He's the one I can't
Lindstrom?
wait to see. Jacky.
Why? He can only be better? You think that...
Can he be better than last year?
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that last year he surprised so many people that it'll be hard for him to be better this year because everyone will see him coming from
Jinx. hopefully not, but I hope it's not going to be the case. But to me, he was so good last year.
I know, but
And hopefully his shoulder.
Look, I know about this sophomore jinx, but I mean, usually in life, if you're working somewhere else, year 2, you're going to be better somewhere than you were year 1.
Well, that's
year 3, you'll be better than 2. Year 4, you'll be better.
So you
than
don't
3.
believe in sophomore jinx?
No, I believe that it happens. There's people that I think get carried. I think if you have the character that you
That's
are
a good point.
That you are either complacent or mentally maybe not as strong as others, it can happen, and it can happen easily.
He is not.
I think this guy has a work boots. He's
course.
got his work boots on, and that's the mentality he has, and I think he'll push.
Great kid as well. Like he's a nice, genuine person.
Everybody's nice for you, I notice. Every time you talk about somebody, they're nice.
I like people. That's to make me not like you.
Yeah.
You have to be a bad person, because I pretty much like everybody. I find something good and something beautiful in everyone.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So that being said, Jack
like
of
you
course.
Like me? Yeah, sure. I like you too.
Jack I just hope that, and again,
if you would ever see me on your smartphone, would you swipe right or to that point or no?
I mean, can you like double swipe right or?
What a star, man! What a star this guy is.
I think
double
so.
Swipe.
But,
we're not going to double swipe, but you know what we're going to do? This, my friend, is called a double spruce. There we go. Instead of a double swipe, a double spruce. All right.
So I guess I'm done with Jack I. But yeah, I just hope he's not gonna, go around and try to hit and fight everyone.
No, but the guys in his division are going to want to go out and fight him. Ryan Reeves is going to want to fight. Reeves is going to drop with him, and so is Lucic.
Sure. I don't think. I hope not. I mean, I'm in the press box, and I'm scared of both.
I hear you.
Milan Lucic, I've met him a few times. He's such a nice guy. He is such a nice guy.
I like him a lot. He's the guy we like to hate.
Yeah,
but I like him.
Very nice. I spoken to his dad. Nice as well. And he's big, tough. He looks mean with his nose, his back, and everything.
Yeah.
Ryan Reeves, he scares me. Like, I remember. Don't know if I told you
that Lucic has spent some time in Montreal. You know that.
Oh yeah, and he has friends in Montreal.
Yeah.
Spoke with him. Was it last year or 2 years ago in Calgary? Anyways,
I know who they are. By the way, do you know who his friends are from Montreal?
No.
Some of his best friends.
No.
I'm gonna make sure that I get it. I'm gonna get it right. Okay. Let me just see.
While you're saying that,
I'll
tell you that before an interview. Sometimes I'm saying, yeah, it's French, or I joke around saying that it's going to be in French, and he's laughing. And he's like, I can say merci beaucoup et bonne journée at the end. I'm like, that's enough. You're going to be loved. He says, I know. I have friends in Montreal, and they're always like, just say merci, and people will love you. So anyway, we had a good laugh about it. Very, very nice guy. And Ryan Reeves. Well, did you find an... When you find it, you tell me, okay?
I know who it is, actually. It's both Alex and Nick Shangula.
Okay.
Who are from Montreal. All right. They both played for the Coquitlam Express.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Of the BCHL.
Yeah.
And on their team was Milan Lucic.
There you go.
And they remained buddies ever since. As a matter of fact, when one of them got married, and I don't know which one it was, Lucic was invited to the wedding, and he was there. Showed up to the wedding, and when he's in town, he hangs out with the Shangulas every now and then.
Okay.
And they go into some of the coffee shops, and they have a sandwich or they have a coffee, and he's a big hit. There's a lot of people in Montreal who've had the chance to meet Milan Lucic.
Oh, yeah.
Who absolutely love him. Because I remember this for a couple of reasons. But number one, the Shangulas helped me get Milan Lucic on the air back in the day when I was working radio.
Okay.
And I was at a wedding on the 19th of August
Okay.
of Vito Shangula, who, worked radio, and he and I worked in the same building. I was invited to his wedding, and obviously the Shangulas are his cousins. And so I was talking with them at the end of the night, and we were talking about Milan Lucic. So there you have it.
Oh, yeah.
Lucic likes Montreal a lot.
Oh, he does.
But he's absolutely ecstatic to have been traded back to the Boston. Like, he's ecstatic to be with the Boston Bruins. Ecstatic.
I remember 2 years ago, second round, Edmonton, Calgary. Funny story. When I'm working on the broadcast for the playoffs, normally I'm at the Zamboni entrance, okay, and I watch the game from there. And sometimes that was when Brady Tkachuk was going in the stands with the Bud Light and waving the crowd.
Yeah.
And then one game, it's Lucic's wife beside me.
Oh yeah.
And she is very nice. She is funny. And then we're we're chatting and we're, kind of having a laugh. And I'm talking about the fact that Lucic, he's nice and people in Montreal love him, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a scrum behind the net. So it's, maybe 15 feet from us. And Evander Kane and Lucic. So Lucic has his back on the la baie vitrée, on the glass.
The glass, yeah.
And then you have Evander Kane's, and they're so close that Evander Kane's face is like 1 foot away. So we're chatting, and then she leaves, she runs, and then she bangs on the window. I can't show what she did to him, but can you imagine what finger she used? And she was yelling at Evander Kane so intense, like it was and then came back 5 seconds after. What were we saying? And then we started chatting and having a laugh.
That's funny.
Anyways, and I told that to Milan, and she's like, man, I fight on the ice, but trust me, at home I wouldn't fight her for.
That's funny. Hey, a shout out to Murphy Clinic, an aesthetic clinic specializing in medical aesthetic care. They offer permanent laser hair removal as well as a wide range of treatments for skin problems such as acne, fine lines, rosacea, and more. They currently have 2 clinics, one located in Montreal, Shop Angus, and the second on the North Shore in Terrebonne. They're also opening soon in Quebec Cité, that is. Visit murphyclinic.ca or on Instagram at Murphy Clinic. So, if this was a report card in ending l'été de Kent Hughes' summer, you give him what on 100?
Oh, out of 100?
Yeah.
80, 85, 80, 85.
Hey.
Not perfect, but very good. That's better than all the grades I had.
Yeah, that's better than all the grades I had, especially that 49 that I had in geography. I've never been very good with geography, let me tell you.
Well, I had a 49. Lot of F's. So, no, I think it was a good summer, and it's according to the plan. So, to me, it gives bonus points according to the plan.
During the hockey season, I hope that you will once again be a full-time collaborator. And if so, that would be according to the plan.
Well,
on that note,
I'm ready to do that, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'm ready to have you with open arms. We'll talk to you soon. Merci beaucoup.
Thanks.
All right, there you have it. The Marc-André Perreault of TVA Sport. If you're watching on YouTube and you liked it, like it, share it with your friends. Comment SICK, SICK. And if you're going to listen to us on Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review. It's our way of feeling the love. Thank you very much for watching once again. For Shane Gaumont and Yellow, Sammy, and Juliana Cavallaro, I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. La Bittt, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.